I'm going to show you how you take off this bearing by cutting it. Now, like I say, you're going to take just your cut-off wheel. The first thing you're going to do is, I might have to get over here so I don't shower my camera in sparks. Where you have a roller and the cage is the thinnest is where you want to cut. And you're basically going to cut it out to where one of these rollers will fall out and you can reach in here and just pry the cage apart. A little more. Grab a screwdriver real quick. So the cage is split. Okay, there's all of our rollers out of the way. So now, we're going to take this, just cut it as deep as we can get. Okay, and once I got it cut pretty deep, take our chisel, stick it in the groove, hit it. It may take a time or two. Okay, now I have it cracked at least halfway here, if not all the way, but I definitely have a half crack in it for sure. Try cutting it a little more towards the center. Still can't tell if I've got it cracked the whole way through. Okay, that sound right there, I don't know if you noticed the difference on the camera, but it had a different cracked sound to it. And that actually moved the race. So now I can just knock it off. And there's that race off. Now, this bearing is a 3984. And I want to say that the actual outer race was a 3920, but I'll verify that. I videoed it separately. The one that's actually in the actual trumpet. But 3984. And that should be the same for this guy over here. Which, there's a little mark right here and a little mark here where I hit it with the grinder, or cut off wheel, whatever you want to call it. That's not going to affect anything. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off. Okay, so we got the bearings cut off of our carrier. Now, both of these are going to press on the exact same way, so I'm only going to show you how to do this side. So you just repeat this process for the other side. Anyway, the new bearing, 3984. And I'm going to have to stop this halfway, or before I seat it, and use the old race to actually push the bearing all the way down. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I have no room to put it here right now. Just make sure everything's nice and centered. Although mine's wanting to try to go crooked on me. Let's see if it'll straighten up here. Yep, straightened up. Okay, so there's where mine stops. And it's stopping because this is actually hitting the carrier right here. Okay, so this is actually the old bearing that we cut off of it. So now we're actually using it as a press plate, so don't throw it away once you cut it off. Now we just line it back up. And then press it on our bearing down all the way. There's your new bearing seated. Now this will get stuck a little bit. Just pull it right off. That's a good thing about it being cracked. That's how you change the carrier bearing. And like I say, the other side's the exact same way. So just flip your carrier over in your press. Set your plate right there on that boss that's actually part of this piece. Press your new bearing on, and you got it. And there's the other side pressed on. It's a little sketchy doing it this way, you know, because you got all this weight teetering up here, but go slow and you'll be fine. But now this is ready to go back into the tractor. Okay, so now that we have our bearings cut off of our axle, it's time to put the new ones on. Now this inner bearing, the one that goes right here, has a number on it of 25590. And what we're going to do, we'll slide the bearing on this direction, and we're going to flip this over, slide it down on our press. Now on this bearing, this inner race is actually sticking out just ever so slightly more than the cage. So I should be able just to press it straight down like that. Okay, just press it down until it's fully seated. I'm still spinning nice and easily. Now the outer bearing goes right here. I have a number 2789. Now it is pretty flush, so we're going to have something to kind of act as a pressure on this one. There we go, that'll work. Okay. The same thing, just press it till it seats. And there we go. We now have a new inner, or outer and inner axle bearing on this shaft. And we'll just repeat it for the other side.